3 weeks ago, Gallatin City Council was packed out. Pastors, neighbors, and business owners all came down to City Hall. They weren't there for a show. They were there because they cared about what happens in their neighborhood. Issue changing the 1 mile radius rule for a liquor store.
That's right. The rule said liquor stores had to be at least a mile apart. But did they address the proximity to churches and schools? Some people said that kept the city balanced, kept things spread out. But others, mostly developers and business owners, said it was outdated, that a half-mile should be good enough, and that more stores meant more jobs and tax revenue.
But not everyone agreed. Pastors stood up and said, "We don't want this in our neighborhood." They said putting alcohol next to schools and churches doesn't build a better community. It breaks one down. People from the church side said, "This isn't about money, it's about morals." But after all that debate, the council didn't vote. They said they needed more time to look at it and deferred it indefinitely.
And that's where everything changed. So the question is, can a liquor store be right next door to a church or school, even less than 1,000 feet? Because deferring means nothing happens, and when nothing happens, the rules vanish. By leaving it open, they erased every protection that used to keep liquor stores away from churches and schools.
And that decision right there opened a brand new door. One of the applicants who'd been turned down before because of that 1 mile radius rule came back. He couldn't build his store at the first location because it was too close to another. But when the council left the church and school distance rule indefinite, that opened the door for him to move forward on another spot, 661 West Eastland.
And let's be clear, 661 West Eastland isn't a little ways down the road. It's less than 400 feet from a church. 400 feet, Brenda, that's barely a football field. But now that the distance rule for churches and schools isn't written anywhere, is he in compliance?
And here's what gets me. This wasn't a full policy vote. It was his application for compliance. That's when one council member said, "I don't vote on liquor stuff." Then 2 others followed and abstained. That's 3 votes. And when 3 people abstain, that's enough to stop it. Stop it. Any clear decision.
Exactly. So even though it wasn't a yes and it wasn't a no, and when there's no clear vote, it's left to sit wide open. That's how you end up with a liquor store 400 feet from a church and nobody on record saying they allowed it.
Now, I'm not saying anyone broke the law, but I am saying that the silence, that indecision, gave someone an opportunity. When rules are left on pause, power moves quietly. And when that silence happens around money, somebody's going to benefit.
And what about the people who did speak up? The pastors who came out, the people who took time off work to make their voices heard. All of that meant nothing now. They fought for a rule that is no longer on the books.
Exactly. And now we've got a liquor store that can go next to a school, church, because there's no written protection there for those spaces. That's not a loophole. That's a gap big enough for a truck to drive through.
If you don't want to vote on liquor issues, fine, but at least set policies that protect the people who live here. Because when the public doesn't know the rules, that's when trust breaks. Abstaining sounds neutral, but it's not. It's permission wrapped in silence.
Let's also not forget, they moved this to another meeting just to get enough votes for it to pass. You need at least 4 votes for a liquor license to be approved. So they brought it back once they knew they had enough votes. And the moment that happens, that one application becomes the blueprint for every new one that follows.
And while we're arguing about who sells what, the bigger question is, who's being protected? Because it sure isn't the neighborhoods or the churches or the kids walking to school every single morning.
This isn't about being anti-business. It's about being pro-community. If you can't make a decision that defends both, then maybe you shouldn't be making decisions at all.
Every Tuesday at 6 p.m., the city meets. If you care about this, show up. Ask for the minutes. Ask who abstained. Ask who deferred. Because right now, Gallatin's got no guardrails, and the next liquor store could be next door to your child's school or your place of worship.
And here's the truth. When people stop asking questions, silence becomes policy. And silence is what got us here.
This is No Party with B&J, keeping it plain, keeping it real. We are waiting on the records, and when they come in, you'll hear it here first.
Wow. Until then, stay watchful, stay vocal, and stay sensible. Because the moment we stop showing up is the moment they stop being accountable.
What's up, everybody? Gather round, let's ignite. It's the sensible thinker shining true tonight. With your host, Benda and Justin in the middle.